Welcome into Illinoisprep.com. I am Skyward King alongside Eric Seals. As always, you can get us on Twitter at SkylarIPrep, at EricIPrep. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here, Mr. Seals. Semifinal action. We're talking 8A first. And we went to two 8A games this weekend. And we decided this a long time ago. I don't know if we really publicly talked about this. We curse games that we go to because they're all blowouts.
They're all blowouts.
On Friday night, the Red Hawks of Naperville Central all they do is upset teams in these playoffs. 42-14 dominated Homewood Flossmoor in Naperville.
Yeah, that game, I mean, it was it's not to me what a quarterfinal game should have been. And there's several of them throughout the whole football playoffs where you're like, really? These are blowouts? These should be week one games, but that's neither here nor there. But Naperville Central, they came out to play. They were at home. The whole crowd was rocking. It was a great atmosphere, and they just really smacked Homewood Flossmoor.
And it was. I was saying, what happened? Because early in the game, Homewood Flossmoor forces a punt. They went right down the field on that Naperville Central defense. But at the end of the day, it's one of those, unless you have vastly superior athletes, the offense Homewood Flossmoor runs, if you face a team that is sound tackling, going east-west, that's no good.
I mean, don't forget, they did return the first kickoff.
Yeah.
That was the first play of the game. So from that point, they were on super high morale.
Right.
They were not going to come down. The thing with Homewood Flossmoor, I do think they have superior athletes. They're very fast. They're athletic. They can move everywhere on the field. But you're right. The type of offense that they were playing, they were doing a lot of screens. And Naperville Central, they were ready for that. And I guess my thing is the screens only work if I know I'm going to be doing some type of other play. If I'm going downfield and run the ball or whatever.
If they have that deep threat where otherwise they can just come up to the line of scrimmage.
And as you were saying, they were throwing a lot of east and west balls.
Yeah, and that's I mean, again, they've put up a lot of points on a lot of teams, but the good teams, and for the most part, when you get to the quarterfinals, you're playing good teams, Bolingbrook, Lincoln Way East, that did not work well.
Nope.
And you saw it again against Naperville Central. Naperville Central is going to get Bolingbrook.
Yep.
We talked about two games we went to. This was the other one. And in case you didn't know, Aaron Bailey, kind of good. 17 rushes, 214, 5 touchdowns in this football game.
Yeah, I mean, this semifinal matchup is going to be fantastic. I think Naperville Central, if anything, the best thing that could happen to them is to play Homewood Flossmoor first, and then they get Bolingbrook next. Bolingbrook has a mobile quarterback, and he's going to run all over the field. Defense is fast. Players on the team are fast. So, if anything, I think that's going to help Naperville Central in this game.
Morrison, we saw, looked a little banged up with a leg.
Yep.
He was sort of limping around the field. And you mentioned something that was interesting. You said, as the coaching staff, you have to make him come off the field. No kid wants to come off the field.
Yeah, a player of that caliber, or many players who are playing in the playoffs, especially being a senior, they're not going to want to come off the field. And he was banged up a little bit. He had the little eye in the tiger in him and said, I'm not coming off the field, which is understandable. But at that point in the game, they were obviously going to win, and it's all about getting him healthy for the next game. It could have just been him, twisted something, banged something up, and he could be completely fine for next week.
And they need him to be, because Naperville Central, not a ton of passes in that offense. It was Lewandowski, Randolph, pound the football, and against a running team, you need that big tackler in that linebacking core to do it. I mean, we saw Morrison earlier, and he was sideline all over the place. He's going to need to be in this Naperville Central game.
Without a doubt.
Especially because the Brook has to go to Naperville Central, and that, of course,
it's a live atmosphere.
That, of course, will be for a trip to the state final. They will likely play a Loyola team that just seems to be a team of destiny in 8A. Undefeated, out of that Catholic blue that doesn't happen every year where a team goes undefeated in that conference. Malcolm Weaver, 25 of 35, 329, 3 touchdowns, 10 carries, 42 yards, another touchdown. They were up 30-3 at halftime. Ended up winning 33-10. It's not
called the dogs off.
Yeah, I mean it's not uncommon to see that in a blowout game. What's it going to take to stop this offense?
I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to have to be something that they haven't seen this year, and that's going to be tough because they have seen a little bit of everything. I think Malcolm Weaver comes out of the game somehow. That's going to just really disrupt the whole team. Mm-hmm. But I think even then they will rally around and say, oh, you took out Malcolm and we can still play.
Right.
So I don't know. To be honest, if I was on the other side coaching, I'd be like, hey, guys, this is going to be a tough one.
I mean, would you play almost like a prevent style defense and make them dink and dunk you and hope they make a mistake?
No, I've never been a big fan of any prevent defense.
Oh, not a true, you know what I mean? Like,
I know what you mean. If anything, I'm trying to think what's the closest game they had this year. I'll probably try to see what that team did. But always putting pressure on any type of quarterback is always going to, give you a chance. At the same time, right, you could get burned. Like, there's no tomorrow if he has legs, sure, which he does. So, again,
I think that Mount Carmel game was like a 14-9.
Mount Carmel, maybe. Keep it close. Stay in the game, and don't let them get up by big points.
Yeah. Big shout out to my guy, the swimmer, Charlie Dowdle. 10 grabs, $194.
We know we're going to get that shout out.
Right. Yeah, of course. They will host Glenbard North.
Yep.
The crazy thing to me about Glenbard North is this is a school last season went 8-1, first-round playoff loss, was one of the really big disappointments in 8A. And this year, with the brothers Jackson, they're just rolling over everybody. 28-0. They beat a Stevenson team that beat three-time defending state champion Maine South.
Yep.
I don't know what that says about Maine South and Stevenson, but what it says to me is Glenbard North is a really good football team. Little brother Justin Jackson did most of the damage this week. 13 for 112-2. Older brother Phil 27, 116-1. Also 2 sacks on defense.
The other thing that you have to look at is Glenbard North plays in the DVC, and I've been down on the DVC the whole year. 3 teams that are going to be in the semifinals, and that says a lot. So Loyola's used to being in a conference where they're always getting banged up. Glenbard North is going to be used to it. So this is going to be a team that's not going to be afraid to go against, the Ramblers.
Is this a team you might give a better chance to because they've been able to run the ball on everybody? And if you can control the clock and limit Malcolm Weaver's possessions, you have a chance in that football game?
You could always throw that. I think it's going to be tough. If I had to pick the game, I have Loyola going all the way. I didn't think Glenbard North was going to get this far, to be honest.
Right.
And if I had to pick it, I'm still going to have to go with the Ramblers. Until someone finds a way to stop that offense, then I'm just going to have a hard time picking you.
I've got the Ramblers win this football game. I'm sticking with Bolingbrook. We both had those 2 teams in the state championship game.
Yep.
Are you sticking with the Brook, or do you got Naperville Central?
Oh, yeah. I'm sticking with the Brook. Naperville Central, though they shut down the Homewood Falls more potent offense, I think Bolingbrook is starting to come together at the right time.
Most surprising team to you in these semifinals? Which one of the DVC teams are you most shocked to see to be here?
I think, honestly, for 8A between the Naperville Central and Glenbard North, I'd have to say Naperville Central. Glenbard North was showing some great things at the beginning of the year. Naperville Central.
We thought this was going to be a rebound year for them.
But
they didn't really show any signs
during the season, and that shows you that this is a team. They have the history, and
they rounded into form.
They rounded into form at the right time. It's almost like what they say about basketball season, where the veterans and the people who've been there for a while don't worry as much about the regular season, but when it gets to playoff time, they click. So if I go 5-4, but I make it to the semifinals, I'll take that. I'll take that every year.
So congratulations to Naperville Central, Bolingbrook, Glenbard North, and Loyola. Be battling to see who gets to play in Champaign next weekend. Next time we'll be talking 7A football, and there's a familiar face there. We'll talk about it next time here on Illinoisprep.com.